Rasheeda's pregnancy has just exploded into the largest scandal in the history of hip-hop and romance. And I assure you, you have never seen Kirk Frost so thoroughly deteriorate. Overnight, rumors became tangible receipts, and the streets are howling over this awful truth. Rasheeda's child does not have Kirk Frost as a father. Let that tragedy marinate for a bit. Rasheeda is now being criticized for the ultimate betrayal after multiple accusations of adultery, side affairs, and awkward reconciliations. Kirk is completely distraught at the released DNA results. Rather than being epic, witnesses described his outburst as catastrophic. Furniture flew, phones broke, and security had to step in before he wrecked the entire set. Fans say it's the most explosive meltdown in the history of the series. Also, don't think that Circus was the grand finale, because it was considerably dirtier than the next object that fell. Rasheed's heartless admission, the hotel footage that was released, and the startling identification of the real father. The baby's father took the spectacle from a contentious situation to total chaos. Social media fell apart as people tried to keep up. It makes the cast tremble. Insiders claim that the marriage is over. But the most crucial query is, who is the father? What made Kirk Frost completely insane? Love in hip-hop Atlanta has always thrived on ugly fights, sensational scandals, and devastating betrayals. But nothing could have prepared audiences for this explosion. The reality TV industry has drastically changed as a result of Rasheeda's unexpected pregnancy announcement. The father isn't Kirk Frost, which is the twist. I did hear you, yes. The foundation of their marriage reunion may now be crumbling into rubble after years of cheating scandals, splits, makeups, and humiliations. Alleged DNA receipts and medical records went viral on social media, turning back alley murmurs into dramatic discoveries. At first, fans brushed it off as simply another insulting rumor meant to undermine them. But then, the evidence started to overwhelm Kirk's defenses. Then suddenly, WASIN _T. just blogs that use it for gossip. Mainstream sources were illuminated by one urgent question. Who's the biological father of Rasheeda? It was like a nuclear explosion to Kirk in his own homeroom. Insiders claim that he burned everything in his house because he was so incensed about the leaked documents. It made the Frost house look like a battlefield. Every moment was caught on camera, including drywall, fists, denting, furniture that was upside down, and phones crashing into walls. Security had to step in when the husband and wife's loud altercation became out of control due to their turbulent background. Let's travel back in time, though. You can better understand why this realization was such a shock if you read the venomous tale of Rasheeda and Kirk Frost again. Their marriage has always been the quintessential scandal bait. Kirk's image as the man who couldn't keep his hands or his loyalty to himself has harmed their relationship for years. In the face of broadcast adultery admissions and secret children that nearly ruined their family, fans have questioned why Rasheeda remained loyal to him. She did, however, always defend the marriage, the family, and the empire they built. Because of this shift, love in hip-hop Atlanta feels like it's being torn apart by an earthquake. Rasheeda, not Kirk, has been deceived for once. The loyal spouse who was commended for her strength is now accused of smuggling out, getting pregnant, and hiding it, till the revelations made her public. As soon as the news was released, social media went crazy. On Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, everyone went berserk. From startled astonishment to crazy theories about who the child's real father was, fans split faster than a reunion fight. When some rushed to shield her, Rasheeda chose herself, saying that years of Kirk's adultery had finally broken her. Others denounced her as the queen of hypocrisy after she had preached loyalty for so long. The memes continued. One tweet went viral following what Kirk had done to her. Rasheeda asserted that revenge is a baby bump. Another person amassed thousands of retweets if the DNA is not his. This show is going to split the internet in two. Kirk, however, had no idea and initially didn't know. Insiders claim that he found it while using the internet, just like everyone else. While he was purportedly out running errands, his phone burst with missed calls and anxious text. The man who had spent years duck-gluing his marriage together was publicly humiliated, viciously ridiculed, and sucker punched when he checked and saw headlines around the world screaming, "Rasheeda pregnant, but Kirk Frost isn't the daddy." It became the most violent confrontation in hip-hop and love history. According to witnesses, when he finally stormed into Rasheeda's home to confront her, There are additional questions besides whether Rasheeda is having a child from another man. The question is if this bomb is the final nail in a marriage that is already in danger, as well as the identity of the father and the reason for her dropping it. Was it punishment for Kirk's constant falsehoods, revenge, or the last twist of events that brought the Frost dynasty to an end? Is the end of the Frost near? Maybe, because despite how awful this narrative is becoming, insiders say the main bomb hasn't even dropped yet. If the suspicions about the baby's paternity are true, it will shatter not only Kirk and Rasheed's marriage, but also the whole cast of Love and hip-hop. The moment Kirk Frost saw that leaked medical report, something inside him snapped. Kirk hurled his phone into the wall, breaking it to bits, and his neighbors said they heard the smash. His chest heaved like a man on fire as he swept around his house like a cyclone, smashing walls, flipping chairs, and yelling profanity. But the more he scrolled, the more he felt it. At first, he attempted to ignore it by refreshing his phone, reading gossip blogs, and murmuring, "This can't be real. This has to be fake." There was the DNA test everywhere. I must now speak with her. According to reports, he screamed, snatched up his keys, and ran away. He rushed back into the icy house where Rasheeda was sitting on the couch, calm as ice, browsing through her phone as if nothing had occurred. The air was thick enough to choke on. There was the quiet before a storm, and Kirk's voice was low to lower. Not even flinching, not even looking up. Rasheeda didn't even look up. "I have no idea what you're talking about," she said in a hushed tone. Kirk yelled, "Wrong move," and sprang forward, snatching the phone out of her grasp and slamming it to the ground. Kirk's voice broke out in rage. His face flushed and his whole body shook like a volcano just before it erupts. "Don't play dumb with me, Rasheeda. Whose baby is this?" he said. The real nightmare happened a few hours later when the film leaked online. But instead she leaned back, crossed her arms, and whispered, "I'm pregnant. And no, it's not yours." As if his life wasn't already spiraling. In a matter of minutes, every gossip blog was promoting the entire video after shaky snippets first surfaced on Reddit and Twitter. "I never meant for it to happen like this," Rasheeda confessed, clutching her stomach, leaning forward, her eyes heavy with exhaustion, as the tape opened with her in a dimly lit hotel room. Her voice was shaking as she said this, and then, like a slow-motion horror film, the shadow of a man slid into frame. Initially, there were only pieces. A hand brushing his chin, a jawline, and the gleam of a gold watch in the faint light. He felt his gut turn. He had witnessed that swagger and that watch. Until the light eventually struck just enough to reveal the truth, he repeatedly played the tape. Instead of being an outsider, the father of Rasheeda's kid was one of Kirk's best friends. He had accepted him into his house, stood up for him in public, and trusted him with his secrets. His treachery was more painful than any knife. According to insiders, Kurt lost all control and began screaming so loudly that neighbors said they heard him from the street, not him. Anyone but him, while he pounded his hands against his driving wheel until his knuckles broke open. Fans began zooming, screenshotting, and critiquing on social media within hours. "That's not some random dude," exclaimed fans as the internet pieced together the hazy image in the video. Twitter threads dissected everything, including the watch's brand, the writing on his arm, and even the specific notes his voice struck. Screenshots blazed like gasoline. That's the kind of person Kirk knows. Someone around. It's a private issue. An audio recording of Rasheeda's voice quivering was made public by a second leak. It was more delicate and exposed. Kirk is still in the dark. When he discovers it's you, he will go crazy. The voice that didn't require an introduction then responded. Thousands of people shared a single tweet that went viral, but the mayhem didn't stop there. Eventually, he will discover the truth, but it will be too late. It was a really distinct and clear voice. It wasn't just a friend. It was a member of the Love and hip-hop family. He was a man who laughed in confessionals, acted as a brother on camera, and filmed scenes beside Kirk. He was now in the midst of the scandal and prepared to destroy everything. Social media was stunned. She played with him in his own home. One fan's tweet, which got over 50,000 likes, said, "There is no way Rasheeda did this with him." Another fan exploded. "This is worse than anything Kirk ever pulled." Through Instagram live feeds, TikTok in-depth analysis, and YouTube breakdowns, the internet exploded, dissecting every second of the betrayal like it was the Zapruder footage. But this was more than just humiliation for Kirk. It truly was a broadcast of utter humiliation. Millions of times. Insiders said that he lost control, rushed out of his house, pushed past photographers, and ran down the street to confront Rasheeda again. This time there would be no quiet questions, no measured tone. He was trying to find names. He wanted to know the truth. He wanted blood. When he stormed through the front door, Rasheeda was waiting, her arms folded, her face expressionless. An ice wall. The air was heavy. Kirk let out a trembling cry. "Tell me who it is." "Say his name." "Say it." She didn't recoil. She looked him in the eyes and muttered coldly, "You already know." Kirk's jaw tensed till it seemed on the verge of cracking. "Don't play with me, Rasheeda." "I swear to God, don't play with me, please." As though trying to stifle the raging volcano of rage within him, his fist pounded his chest. Then the front door squeaked open. From the corridor came a voice. Smooth, cocky, and completely indifferent. "You need to calm down, Kirk." Kirk came to a halt. He turned slowly and noticed the man in the video. The man who burned his marriage. The guy Kirk had called his brother is standing tall and arrogant in his own house, looking down on him as though he owned the place. Time stopped for a moment. Then Kirk went off. He screamed at the top of his lungs as he surged forward, his fists flying and his body crashing forward like a man possessed. Security raced to intercept Kirk, but he fought with all his might. "You, out of all people, you!" He cried, his voice breaking under the weight of betrayal. Rasheeda shouted to put herself between them, but it was too late. The harm was nuclear. The secret was out. The shocking revelation didn't only destroy Kirk's universe. It destroyed the entire hip-hop and romantic world. As he thrashed against security and turned to confront Crimson, the guy who had betrayed him, Kirk grinned and spat out the words like venom. "She's not yours anymore, Kirk. Neither is the baby." That line was too deep for any blade to cut. And the audience, captivated by the footage, were finding it hard to trust what they were seeing. After years of betrayals, scandals, and infidelity, the most heinous twist yet has finally exploded. This time, it was more than just a case of contrived drama. There was pure destruction here. Don't think, however, that the chaos ended there. If the allegations going around backstage are true, this dispute was about more than Rasheeda's betrayal. They were going to drag the entire cast into hell. Friendships, relationships, and even marriages were on the verge of disintegrating one after another in ways that no one could have foreseen. If you thought the pregnancy, the bombshell, and Kirk's breakdown were insane, but the wave that followed was much different. Because this suddenly became about multiple unsuccessful marriages. According to insiders, it was the most disastrous chain of events in the franchise's history, bringing the entire love and hip-hop Atlanta family right into the fire. Everything started when the hotel video of Rasheeda and Kirk's purported friend was made public. When the truth was revealed, admirers compared shapes and enlarged tattoos in every photo, and the internet was merciless. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag #RSHIDA, hashtag ClassTit, and hashtag Love and Hip Hop Scandal were trending all over the world. But this was the point at which things got even stranger. The performers weren't remaining silent. Once they jumped right into the fire, their efforts just helped to feed it. They jumped right in, and their reactions turned a simmering issue into a 5-alarm conflagration. Yandandy Smith was the first to strike, sharing an enigmatic story on Instagram. The first people who betray allegiance are the ones who whine about it the most, which is amusing. Fans quickly took it to be a hit at Rasheeda, leading to speculation that the two women are secretly fighting. Screenshots were all over Twitter, and the narrative suddenly changed to Yandy standing behind Kirk. Carly Red, who never holds back, came next. During the live Instagram broadcast that drew over 100,000 viewers, videos of Carly's outburst quickly went viral on TikTok, with supporters claiming it was the final straw that would ruin Rasheeda's reputation. She continued, "I told y'all Kirk has been dirty. But this right here proves Rasheeda is no angel either." But when Mendy sees Yandy's own husband, she reacts in the most ridiculous way. It's more than just betrayal. On national television, that is humiliation. According to sources who leaked backstage audio, Mendy said, "If Kirk wants to put hands on somebody, I get it. I would too. If he witnesses us co-signing Kirk's wrath, this won't remain on camera. It will explode in real life." During an emergency meeting, Mona Scott Young reportedly lost it and yelled at staff, saying, "If this footage leaks unedited, the H1 is done. This isn't entertainment anymore. This is lawsuits. This is careers. This is life or death drama." Her outburst echoed through the hallways. But it was too late by then, as the clips were everywhere, flooding timelines, and fans had already made their decisions. Kirk Frost, however, was not cooling off. He was a ticking time bomb, and according to witnesses, he barged into the set during a reunion tape 2 days later, still flaming with wrath and demanding names. This time he turned on the entire ensemble rather than just Rasheeda. Everyone knew. Don't sit here and pretend you're brand new. You all knew, all of you. And I was not informed by any of you. The cast instantly divided when Kirk sprang at Carly Red, thinking she was the one who leaked the hotel footage. Half of them defended Kirk, saying Rasheeda's betrayal was unforgivable, while the other half defended Rasheeda, reminding everyone of how humiliating her previous infidelity had been for years. Online viewers compared the mayhem to a civil war, with friendships that have withstood controversy after scandals suddenly lying in ashes, alliances breaking down, and old wounds bursting. But the implosion didn't end there, since a new leak emerged and another bomb dropped. This time, it was private text exchanges allegedly sent back and forth between Rasheeda and her mysterious lover, rather than video. "I can't maintain the secret forever because Kirk is already suspicious." And the enigmatic man remarked, "He'll snap, but let him. The test is over if it is made public. Together, we'll handle the aftermath." That single exchange sent fans into absolute meltdown. Who is this man, really? While memes flew and fans joked, insiders insisted the danger was no laughing matter. The network was in full panic. Security was doubled on set, and cast members whispered about quitting altogether. One producer speaking off the record admitted, "We've never seen Kirk this unhinged. If the cameras hadn't been rolling, someone would have left in an ambulance." Now the issue was so genuine. Just when everyone thought this story could not get much more disgusting, court officials revealed that someone had actually filed formal paperwork for a paternity lawsuit, extending the controversy directly into legal hell and away from the tabloids. The producers, the actors, and even the fans weren't prepared for how chaotic things were going to go. What began as rumors of a pregnancy had turned into a scandal, broken relationships, and now the possibility of legal action. It was only a matter of time until fists, careers, and marriages were destroyed because Kirk was still furious. Rasheeda was not going to back down, and the mystery man was keeping his ground. Marriages and careers in ashes. The worst part is still to come. Insiders claim that because the drama continues going off script, the upcoming reunion show has already been retaped 3 times. Translation: the worst thing hasn't even been revealed to the world yet. However, a single question hangs over everything. What will happen if the court-ordered DNA results are made public and Kirk Frost is already acting in such a violent manner? If you were shaken by the hotel recording and Kirk and Hinge's breakdown, the fallout became a cultural earthquake. Fandom, the cast, and even the music business couldn't ignore the media frenzy that erupted. From the first murmurs about Rasheeda's pregnancy,